Hello and welcome back to this edition of Daily Actives brought to you by Bootleg Macro. I am Dustin and we have one of the most exciting stocks in the entire market back on the most active list on Yahoo Finance, and that is Lucid, LCID. And one of the reasons why this has been the most exciting is because we have seen essentially a tremendous turnaround. You can see here when we look at the 1 month, the 15-day, the 5-day, and the 1 day, that they used to be all red. And now we are looking at that we've seen that these things have all flipped to a rolling positive return until today. When we look, we can see that the price went from $8.12 yesterday down to $7.16 today, or it was down, boys and girls, 11.82% in 1 day. On the rolling 5-day return, it is down 3.37%. Now, I don't think that's really necessarily cause for concern. The one thing I would say, though, is that when you have 122 million shares traded, you get a volume spike, which I know you don't know what that means, but it means that it's above the 10-day rolling average of volume. And when it's white background with red lettering, that means it's 3 standard deviations above the mean. That's a little concerning. The one thing that I do say is positive for the bulls here is that you saw the short-term, intermediate, and longer-term go long, as well as a short-term, intermediate, and longer-term bullish signal. Now, when we look at the overall rolling sentiment, the one thing I will point out is that we are clearly above 60% on the 2-day average and the 5-day average. We are not necessarily really high on the 10-day average, but we are above 60% on the 10-day, as well as pretty close to it here on the 23-day. Now, we're going to go ahead and look at the charts. We can see here is that this move that we've been talking about recently has had a lot of volume and a lot of push behind it. You're thinking about going from under $6 around here. It looks like they closed at $5.47 all the way up to nearly a high of $8.37. That doesn't seem like a big move in dollar terms, but it is a big move in percentage terms. Now, when we look at the overall daily sentiment, we can see that this has gotten extremely high. The daily sentiment right now is at 64%, which if you look all the way back to this period, it hasn't been that high since the middle of February of 2023, which back then we saw it pop and then drop. Now what I want to look at is where this range is, because the range essentially you can see it's been riding at the top, but it could come back down. Now I'll be very curious to see what the volatility looks like, and the reason why is because volatility generally tells you a lot about what's going to happen in the stock. We can see the volatility looks like it bottomed recently and it's starting to break out, and it looks like the correlation is currently negative. So if the correlation stays negative while the volatility breaks out, that could be a problem. But if the correlation starts to go positive, we could see some aggressive moves to the upside. But tell me what you think in the comments below. Are you long? Are you short? Do you like it? Do you love it? Is this even a good review? And before you go, do yourself a favor, subscribe to the New High newsletter. It comes out Sundays at 9 a.m. just for you. I'll talk to you soon.